Alexis Akwagyiram, he is the managing editor at Semafor Africa. It's a digital news media company with a special focus on Africa. Alexis, thank you so much for your time. I mean, we're asking this question again and again and again. Do you really see a military intervention as a realistic possibility or just a threat?
At the moment, I think it's just a threat. I mean, I don't see it as a realistic possibility. I think ECOWAS clearly, they've made it clear it's the last resort and they really don't want to, go down that avenue. And the military junta doesn't want to see any form of military intervention. So I think it is just a threat at this stage. I think what we're seeing with all these developments is a way to ratchet up pressure in the diplomatic sense so that the junta can get what they want. But it's all about the negotiations behind closed doors.
Yes, but there is also some regional support, of course, for the junta in Niger. We had representatives from the juntas of, was it Mali and Burkina Faso a few days ago? And those two countries have said to any other outside nation that if you attack Niger, consider it as an attack on us as well. Therefore, could it well be that maybe the influence from abroad should come from areas that are more, further away than West Africa? In other words, Vladimir Putin speaking to the head of the Malian junta, and he, the Russian president, saying he wants some sort of peaceful resolution to what's happening.
I mean, I think we should forensically analyze what was actually said by the Malians and Burkina Faso juntas and actually not necessarily take them at face value, because what was really going on there was self-preservation. They know that ultimately, if they do not react aggressively and they're not strong and present a united front, then ECOWAS could roll over Niger and then they could be next. So really what they were doing was trying to be assertive and trying to make clear that there was a united front. Now, the reality is very different because both Burkina Faso and Mali are struggling with insurgencies at home, Islamist insurgencies. Both of them are far too stretched to realistically contribute. I mean, I just think it's not realistic. So I don't think that we should necessarily take what they say at face value.
Alexis, can you explain a little bit more about what the junta may be thinking when it says it's got enough evidence to prosecute President Mohamed Bazoum for high treason? Because a couple of those clips we heard from actually Nigerians themselves, the gentlemen were saying, yes, it's right, we should prosecute him for that because he's taken so much money and put it in his own pocket. Are there allegations of corruption, or does high treason mean something else?
So I'm not personally aware of allegations of corruption. However, if you look at what they said, they accused Bazoum of basically contributing to instability. They said that he was undermining security in Niger and the surrounding region. So I think what we need to try and think about is the motivation for doing this. And I think, first of all, there's an issue of leverage. They want to use him as a bargaining chip. And this is a very good way for them to do this. As I said before, they want to put pressure on ECOWAS and anyone else involved in mediation and say, look, we have him. And the fact that there's the option of the death penalty also increases that pressure. As well as that, they're looking for legitimacy, both nationally and internationally, because they're claiming that they have a body of evidence that they've amassed. So ultimately, they're trying to make it clear that there's been a forensic, methodical process by which this man has done some wrongdoing. And then as well as that, there's the court of public opinion. And as we saw in your report there is support for this because what they want to do is present him as a puppet of the West. Now, in doing so, they'll make it much, much harder for him to be reinstalled. Because I don't think there's a contradiction here. They can, on the one hand, say, behind closed doors, we are open to negotiations, as the clerics from northern Nigeria said. But at the same time, they want to make it abundantly clear that he's not coming back under any circumstances as far as they're concerned. Now, by doing this, by presenting all of this information that they say that they have, they can say that, well, this is why. He's illegitimate and he has let down the country. And as I said, in terms of the court of public opinion, then they can mobilize public support for them and their movement, which is what they want.
Alexis Akwagyiram, thank you so much for the analysis. Really, really interesting. Take care.